afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Judy Simpson. The University of Vermont is taking another step forward in boosting career preparation services for its students. This fall, UVM opened a new career and experience hub. It's located in a heavily traveled portion of the Davis Center. The Career and Experience Hub is for students who are looking for hands-on, real-world experiences. The hub will also provide career-oriented advice designed to help students be more focused and better prepared to pursue a career.
This has been, in the last 10 months, a spectacular collaborative effort, starting with the students and the staff and the faculty and the administration. People said we couldn't do it as quickly as we did, but with the great leadership of the Dean of our Honors College, Abu, who's here today, we got it done in record time. We got it done in record time because it was a collaborative effort. It was a team effort, starting with the students and an early report, making the case, to be sure, a very compelling case about why career services should be as integrated and holistic with our academic advising as possible. What our goal here is, quite frankly, is to make sure that from the student perspective, the most important person here, from the student perspective, it is to have a seamless counseling opportunity at UVM in the 4 short years that students are here. We want to be able to integrate and harmonize the academic counseling along with the career counseling. We want to be able to align internships and co-op and job opportunities along with one's thinking about their academic career and the success at the end in 4 years. So this is about integrating academic and career counseling so that our students are able to choose well their majors, their minors, their path towards completion in 4 years, and ultimately to be job ready at graduation. And that's where UVM will be distinctive. So I want to thank this afternoon our students, our staff of the great Career Counseling Center, our faculty who participated, our terrific dean who led the strategic action effort on this part. Thank you, Abu. And to thank Pam and Terry McDermott who helped underwrite part of the investment in this great concept and this great idea. So the theme is collaboration, the theme is communication, and the theme is a seamless integration of academic counseling and career counseling to make sure that our students are job ready when they graduate, and it's a job there that they're highly qualified for and are excited about as well. So thank you everybody at the university for pulling off what people said couldn't be done in such a short period of time. The right question we asked is why not? And the answer today is thank you very much for getting it accomplished. And most important, it's our students who benefit from this seamless path towards integrating their academic wishes along with job preparedness and counseling. Thanks so much, very much.
Today we opened the Career and Experience Hub, which is a new idea for college campuses. Basically, we often have offices that students come into, and they might come into a career center because they want to write a resume or they want to figure out what they want to do with the rest of their lives. But we know that students' success depends on their being engaged throughout their college education. So we want to get them engaged earlier. So this place is someplace a student can come and say, you know, I used to volunteer in high school, but I don't really know what to do now that I'm here. How can I get started? And we know that there are courses they can take where they're working in the community, there are volunteer opportunities, they can intern, they can use their work-study jobs on campus to go off in the community and help. There are so many opportunities that we can help them funnel through and access.
I have a quick follow-up to that. This is about the students, but what you just described is this is a huge community piece too, I'm thinking.
Yes, it is a big community piece. So UVM has long had many students in the community volunteering thousands of hours and doing internships and class projects out to try to be good partners with the space that we cohabitate. And students don't always know how to find that. So we have a one place they can go to hear that information and feel how to get connected. The career Center continues to exist, and what we do is help students figure out what they want to do with the rest of their lives, how their majors and careers might connect, how to connect with alumni. But the hub is a way for somebody who's not ready to make the big career commitment to stick their big toe in the water and get a sense of some experiences they can get that will help them move forward. You can't make a career decision until you've had some experience. And that's what we want to give students a chance to access very easily from the beginning.
In addition to opening the new Career and Experience Hub, UVM is bolstering career preparation in other ways. The university has added 2 new positions, one focused on internships and another on outreach to Vermont employers. UVM has also boosted the number of course offerings and other programs to help undergraduate students better align their academic interests with potential career interests. The hub at the Davis Center serves students on a walk-in basis or by appointment. Our next segment delves into Vermont's rich Civil War history. 2013, of course, marks the war's sesquicentennial, and events throughout the year have honored the sacrifices made by soldiers and civilians alike, both here in Vermont and at the battlegrounds in the North and South. Vermont's role in the war began with an historic vote in Montpelier, and that's where we find Vermont Civil War historian Howard Coffin, who has several tales of history to tell from our State House, inside and out.
Vermont's observance of the 150th anniversary of the Civil War is well underway, and in many ways it's centered right here on the 1859 State House. That building opened less than 2 years before the Civil War began, and it looks almost the same inside and out as it did then. Some interesting history happened on this State House lawn. A 100-foot flagpole was put up here as the war began, and war rallies were held around it. And then, at the end of the war, a scaffold was built, supposedly for the hanging of Confederate President Jefferson Davis. We're in the Vermont House of Representatives, perhaps the most famous room in all of Vermont, and it looks today almost exactly as it did at the time of the Civil War. The same chandelier, the same seats, and the same speaker's rostrum. In 1862, John Phelps came back from Louisiana, having resigned from the Army after General Benjamin Butler refused to let him enlist black men into the Army. He came back and he spoke here to a rousing reception. He said, "The sun never looked down upon a greater evil than American slavery. In ruling this great nation of slaves, we have to a degree become enslaved ourselves." Many of the things said here had a ring of human freedom. Perhaps the greatest moment in this room happened on May 9, 1865, when the legislature met in an extra session to consider whether to ratify the 13th Amendment, which outlawed slavery. The vote was 169 to nothing, and when the vote was announced, a 100-gun salute was fired on the State House lawn. Republican Governor Erastus Fairbanks asked the legislature to appropriate $500,000 to begin the war effort. But that wasn't enough, according to many, including Representative Stephen Thomas, a Democrat from West Fairleigh. He rose to say this: "Until this rebellion shall have been put down, I have no friends to reward and no enemies to punish. And I trust that the whole strength and power of Vermont, both of men and money, will be put into the field to sustain the government." Thomas would go on to lead the 8th Vermont Regiment in the Civil War, including in its suicidal and brave stand at Cedar Creek. Soldier reunions were held in this hall. In years after the Civil War, Stephen Thomas came back, and he spoke of his comrades no longer with him. "Their memory is like apples of gold in pictures of silver. They need no eulogy, for it is written in letters of living light. Abraham Lincoln had used the analogy of gold and silver to talk about the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, how they should always be considered together, because the Declaration of Independence guaranteed that all men are created equal and should be treated equal. He was talking about human freedom. Here in the Senate chamber, all the seats are numbered. This has been called the most beautiful room in Vermont, and it may well be. After the Civil War, a war record was an essential thing to a political career. And a lot of veterans got elected to the Senate. In fact, some 95 Civil War veterans served in this room. The numbers haven't changed. Here in seat 22 sat George Grenville Benedict, longtime editor of the Burlington Free Press, who won a Medal of Honor at Gettysburg. In the seat beside him, seat 23, Wheelock Vasey served from Springfield. Wheelock Vasey commanded the 16th Vermont Regiment at Gettysburg in the flank attack on Pickett's charge, and then turned his men around and launched another flank attack on a supporting Confederate attack. Long after the war, he became national commander of the Grand Army of the Republic, the great veterans organization. And right down at the end of this row, at the last desk, it was occupied by Redfield Proctor. Redfield Proctor, who led the 15th Vermont Regiment to Gettysburg, who later served as Secretary of War. Beloved by his soldiers, he welcomed them all to Proctor for a great reunion years after the war. In Proctor, he had founded the Vermont Marble Company. Vermont, of course, has a remarkable Civil War history, but it is nowhere as present, perhaps, as in the Cedar Creek room of the State House. And an old friend of mine is with us today, David Sheets, the curator of the State House. David, there's some new things in this old room.
There are. We've never been able to truly bring alive perhaps the two parts of the State House that resonate with the Civil War the most. And that's this room, the Cedar Creek room, which of course has this magnificent painting behind us that was commissioned for the State House as perhaps Vermont's most important Civil War memorial. And then the flag collection, which we've worked for decades to conserve, but in the aftermath of that, not been able to do much with the empty cases. So now we have these glorious exhibits that actually, with this significant anniversary for the Civil War, are coming alive in a new way for the State House, and we're very, very proud of them. In this room, we've never had a very effective way of explaining this magnificent painting to the public unless they had the benefit of a tour. We get so many casual visitors to the State House that we needed a more active way of bringing this to life. And as you know, we have now these wonderful stanchions in front of the painting that explain the battle and also explain the significant story of how Julian Scott actually painted the battle for this building.
The Civil War lasted 4 years. We're in the middle of a 4-year Civil War sesquicentennial. If you come to the State House in the next 4 years, you'll see these exhibits and understand Vermont in the Civil War.
Our thanks to both Howard Coffin and State House curator David Sheets. And thank you for joining us. Enjoy the weekend. I'm Judy Simpson, and I'll see you again Monday right here on Across the Fence.
For a video copy of today's program, call toll-free 1-888-ATF-3430. Across the Fence is brought to you as a public service by University of Vermont Extension and WCAX TV.